Many people have been saying for years that modern Disney creates their stories with crayons. However, it is actually possible to make decent things by using crayons. The way Disney writes scripts is closer to eating crayons and then vomiting them on a page. I'm pretty sure that's how they made Ahsoka. Letting Disney do anything these days is like stealing candy from a monkey, a really bad idea. One could think that erasing the expanded universe creates an opportunity for Disney to craft a more consistent universe, and in theory it was a decision that could help Disney maintain its lore in a way that makes sense and is easy to understand. But that's not what happened. Not only Disney has been spamming too many Star Wars they can handle, not only understanding each new Star Wars requires you to know some previous Star Wars, but having watched Clone Wars or Rebels only means that Mandalorian and Ahsoka will make even less sense for you because Disney contradicts their own lore all the time. There is no consistency, and the less you know about the Star Wars, the less confused you will be. And from all of the pathetic mistakes Disney have done, the Force is the most confusing one. Disney version of the Force is a blasphemous desecration of logic born from the lack of understanding of the original Star Wars lore and the lack of ability to write magic systems. The sequel trilogy completely fails at being Star Wars, and Disney's fake Force is a big part of this embarrassing failure. For some weird reason, too many people were defending Rey's Skypathin ability to suddenly learn Jedi mind trick, and those people were objectively wrong. In fact, this scene is horrible for at least 3 reasons. Firstly, Jedi mind trick was never an easy thing to learn, so Rey doing this by accident is ridiculous. Jedi are individuals. They vary in skill and power. There were Jedi in Star Wars lore that never been able to learn how to perform a mind trick properly. Obi-Wan was just very good at it. Disney decanonized a lot of things to make way for the improved lore. However, they have been pulling many things from Clone Wars, so I must assume that Clone Wars still matters. And since I saw every episode of that show at least once, I do know that Obi-Wan was praised many times by several characters for his mind-controlling abilities, which implies that not every Force user was as good at it as Obi-Wan. So we can assume that in this universe, Jedi mind trick is not a thing you can just do randomly without any training. I don't care who her grandfather was, and at that point Palpatine was not even a part of the sequels yet. In most good sci-fi and fantasy stories, the abilities to control someone's mind are never taken lightly. Moving objects with your mind seems to always be much easier than affecting someone's mind. The first is a raw power that can be used to touch and even destroy the physical world. But affecting someone's mind always requires more skill, intelligence and finesse. It's only logical to write it this way. Mind control is very powerful, so you always need ways to limit its power for the sake of your story. Using a powerful Force ability by accident is ridiculous. There is a reason why Jedi Academy exists, and before the Rule of Two, young Sith acolytes were also training how to use dark side powers. I don't know why, if you can just cast lightning at random whenever the script says so. I guess Star Wars became a shallow power fantasy written by children for the children with really low attention span. Unfortunately, Disney also broke Darth Vader. And again, many fans were praising this utter stupidity because Vader looks so cool or whatever, and again they were objectively wrong. I don't care how cool this looks. For me, this is just another example of Disney desecrating the Force, and to understand why you simply have to look at this Vader scene from Rogue One. It should be obvious if you are not inhaling massive amounts of copium that because of this scene in Kenobi, this scene in Rogue One cannot exist anymore in the same continuity. And I'm not even talking about grabbing the plans or stopping the rebels' ship from escaping. The problem is that to stop Obi-Wan's ship in Kenobi, Vader would have to generate a massive amount of power. It is not the same as Yoda lifting Luke's fighter. Vader here is fighting against the spaceship's engine. If he has power to do that, then all those soldiers in Rogue One should just instantly die. Vader should be able by simply lifting his hand to instantly vaporize everyone in this hallway. Throwing stormtroopers around like ragdolls and decimating spaceship with the Force is very fun when you are playing a game, but any reasonable person knows that Starkiller in this form could not be a part of the main continuity. He is too powerful, his force powers are too ridiculous to adapt. One would have to nerf him, or it would be too hard to write a compelling story with a force god like that. I heard people defending this scene by saying that Vader was just more powerful back then, therefore it all makes sense. I'm not going to address it, because if you use an argument like that, then you are probably too intoxicated to perform logical thoughts. Another fake Force user is Ahsoka. Star Wars Rebels was always a very shallow and boring show with, for the most part, horribly written original characters that succeeded only because it was carried by already established and more popular characters. The use of fake Force was especially horrible, so transferring Rebels elements into the main continuity was an objectively terrible idea. Force Owls, time travel bullshit, Inquisitors and their stupid hats should never be a part of the main continuity. Ahsoka is especially frustrating because she is not a functional character anymore, and at this point it is impossible to create a good story for her. When I was a child, I created a self-insert X-Men character who was an Omega level mutant with every power ever, capable of solving every problem himself. It was a power fantasy created by a kid. And that's exactly what Ahsoka is now. An overpowered walking perfection created by a child. Another problem is the fact that Disney lost all credibility. I simply don't trust them anymore, and I am unable to give them the benefit of the doubt regarding anything really. For example, in Kenobi show, Obi-Wan hides lightsabers in the middle of the desert. Many fans have been wondering, how was he able to find them? There is an easy way to explain it. You just have to know how lightsabers are made. Technically, anyone can build a lightsaber, however only Force users can activate Kyber Crystal, that is the source of lightsaber power. After activating Kyber Crystal, Jedi becomes connected to it, and he is able to sense it through the Force, the same way he can sense other Force users. I know that, but I'm not so sure if Disney knows about that. Disney proved time and time again that they are bad storytellers with only superficial knowledge of the source material, so I must assume that they don't know what they are doing. I don't want to constantly fix their plot holes with my headcanon. YouTube is already full of pretentious overthinkers desperately defending everything Disney does, but looking for anything of quality in Disney content is like searching for a fool's gold in a pile of garbage.
Like stars in the galaxy. What are we? What do we stand for?
I don't care! No!